All right, everyone, we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we need to start this off just prefacing that we're going to be talking about the Jar Jar kit reveal. There's so much to cover right now. There's a lot changing in the game. Jar Jar going to be dropping May the 2nd of 2024. So again, as I said, I told you so that he would drop before this Datacron set expired because the next Datacron set is going to be Gungan related. So getting that out of the way right now at the start of the video, let's talk about Jar Jar. Please like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let's give a huge shout out to all of the channel members for their continued support. If you're ever interested in joining, that link is always in the channel, in the description of every single video I put out, along with a link to the Discord. Both really good resources to use there. The Discord especially, a lot of great stuff going on there. Got to give a shout out to the Wampa and Jedi Master Tier members. Special shout outs to Joe Correa and of course Clokey for their continued generosity in gifting channel memberships during live stream. So thank you guys. Special shout out there. Let's get into the video here and let's talk about this Jar Jar kit reveal. Alright guys, so Jar Jar's kit is finally here. Let's pop over. We're going to move my fat face up to the corner here as always. And let's talk about Jar Jar. So we have the kit reveal for Jar Jar Binks. I try to give Meathead credit here that he has done. I think he's really stepped up his game. This is hilarious, right? Like to start typing out Darth Jar Jar, just, I love it, right? Artwork, design, I love it. I'm going to tell you right now that like his animations and everything, chef's kiss, right? They've really, I think they definitely have stepped up the animations. They've really moved past what I would say was the general, you know, how General Veers and Colonel Stark are literally the exact same character, just, you know, skinned differently. Like, they've really done a good job of kind of trying to create unique characters and unique animations. I really, really appreciate it. So, Jar Jar is a support, and he has the Gungan tag. I was really hoping he would have a Galactic Republic tag, simply because I wasn't sure how they would function in 3v3. I think now this kind of clues us in that in terms of a 3v3 team, Gungan's kind of going to get the Bad Batch treatment where you really don't, at least with Bad Batch, Omega and Wrecker kind of have some uses in other ways, but not really. I think the Gungan's going to be a, hey, here's your 3v3 team, and the other two kind of ride the bench. So, key attributes. He cranks the dial up to 11, which you will see. Small random chance for something extreme to happen with any ability. I'm going to tell you guys right now, the amount of meme kits I saw that included parts of what Jar Jar's thing does is hilarious. Like, it is very fun. Like, this is almost a meme kit reveal, to be honest. Our art team really knocked it out of the park with this one. Specializes in disrupting and frustrating the enemy. Jar Jar's always brought his own kind of chaos. Inspiration in Jar Jar gaining blind whenever he'd gain foresight. I think that's very funny. Recreate the moments where Jar Jar's actions can lead to unintentional benefits. His animations were inspired by his actions at the Battle of Naboo. Again, like getting a battle droid stuck to his foot. Like, that is honestly one of the most iconic scenes in Phantom Menace. Changed my mind. Whether or not you like Gungans, Jar Jar doing that flip and hitting that droid is just always so funny. Using Lisa warriors to lock in the debilitating debuffs from Gungan allies. Capitalizing on plasma residue. And all of his abilities can hit multiple targets. That is actually massive. Like, he has an AoE attack every single time. That is really, really good. Again, as I said, you know, Thursday, May the 2nd. You know, obviously the Gungans. He's GAC. He's very much going to be good in the Naboo raid. Notice here that he cannot assist, right? So just note that Jar Jar cannot be called to assist. The increased chance for long shot to happen on his abilities, does this require the entire enemy side to be separatist? No. The increased odds occur even if a single separatist enemy is present on the other side of the battle. So, Jango being present in a Mandalorian team will make them susceptible to better odds. Does the separatist need to be active at the moment the ability is activated? Yes. So we'll show you guys that, but basically what they're saying is that every single one of his abilities, there's a certain % chance that something can happen. When a separatist is there, it's an increased chance, but Jango can't be there at the start of battle, then you delete him, and then like that, you still get those increased odds, so it has to be active at the time. Let's get into the abilities, and I'm going to apologize now for me and my pronunciation of Gungan. So, Howwood. Final text. Deal special damage to all enemies. On his turn, one of 3 effects will occur. Inflict Deathmark for 1 turn on the healthiest enemy, which can't be resisted, if they have at least 3 debuffs. That's not bad. Just sometimes that could go on somebody where that's not really going to help you. Think about Lord Vader, characters like Reva, those characters who have reduced damage from like percent health attacks. That could be problematic. The weakest Gungan ally gains damage immunity for 1 turn. Gungan allies gain tenacity up for 1 turn. So those are all pretty good things to happen. But then we get started with the memes. Additionally, this attack has a 0.01% chance to instantly defeat a random enemy, which can't be evaded. Increased to 1% if there are separatist enemies. This attack can't be countered. Just, what the hell? This is going to feel like 100%. I cannot wait to lose to this dude in GAC because he's going to instantly defeat somebody. Here's the thing. So obviously there'll be certain things that can stop this. Obviously you won't be able to delete a galactic legend. Marin has the ability to do that. You think Ben Solo, he can have some of that. So I will be curious to see this in action. But the big thing here is increased to 1% if there are any separatist enemies. I would assume in the raid that this will probably be the most frequent occurrence because the raid will have separatist enemies. So you get that increased odds. Again, I'm just saying, this is going to feel like 100% chance. I know that, potentially you may never see this happen to you in a Grand Arena. I'm telling you, the first time I go up against Jar Jar, this has happened. I'm calling it now. Bookmark it. First time I face Jar Jar in Grand Arena, somebody's dying because of this ability. I'm calling it now. Next. Uh-oh! Big Boomas! Oh, God. Deal special damage to all enemies. If the target had protection, stun that enemy for 1 turn. Otherwise, inflict them with 3 stacks of expose for 1 turn. 0.01% chance. All enemies lose all turn meter and are inflicted with fear for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, prevented, or resisted. Again, increasing to 1 if there are separatist enemies. If all allies are Gungans, all enemies are inflicted with plasma residue for 1 turn. Plasma residue. Character loses 100% evasion. If this character becomes inflicted with shock, deal reduced massive damage to all enemies with plasma residue, then remove all instances of plasma residue. So massive damage, if you guys remember, is 99,999 damage. How we know that is from character like Savage Press. When you go and use that ability when somebody drops below 50% health, and we're always like, oh, it'll kill them. I've actually seen it where it won't, because if you have a character like Old Daka or even Darth Nihilus, when they gain enough max health, it won't actually kill them. So, reduced, whether that's 33,333, 33,333 or something, I'm not sure, but that's kind of that reduced massive damage is, it's going to be less than 99,999. This is the first one that has an Omicron, by the way. While in Grand Arenas, all allies are Gungans. Dispel bonus protection and protection up on all enemies, and they lose 5% max health and max protection stacking, which can't be evaded for the rest of the encounter. Then inflict target enemy with protection disruption for 1 turn. Plasma residue can't be resisted. When this ability is used, reduce the cooldown of all other Gungan allies' abilities by 1. Wow. All right. I feel like I need my glasses, doctor's coat, PhD to read this stuff, but this is absurd, right? So plasma residue, the character loses 100% evasion. Think about going up against Rey and targeting JTR and how she's constantly evading after you've gained all that bonus turn meter and her mastery is stacked. She's going to lose 100% evasion, so you're going to be able to start hammering her down. Other thing, the dispelling of bonus protection and protection up. The only question I have here is the protection up from somebody like Jedi Master Kenobi and the bonus protection from Rey. Those aren't buffs. So I'm wondering how that's going to play a factor here. Are they saying, hey, this kind of counteracts that and it's just going to strip it away? Because I know protection disruption does that. But I'm thinking of, when you use the lifeblood ability from Rey and you give everybody, that bonus protection, that's not dispellable. When I use an ability with Starkiller to dispel debuffs, that protection, that bonus protection doesn't go away. So that's my only question here is, how will that work against the stuff that can't be dispelled? Is it going to just supersede all of that? Protection disruption is great, like that will stop it, but I'm curious on the rest of these, like how does that play a role there? Special 2, Wisa Warriors. Deal special damage to target enemy and a random enemy, and there is that beautiful animation with the B1 battle droid there on his foot. That is exactly the way it happens too. I love it. Gungan allies recover 10% protection. 0.01% chance all Gungan allies recover 100% health and protection and gain 100% turn meter and foresight for 2 turns. Obviously, there's that 1% increase if there's any separatist enemies. If all allies are Gungans, for each different debuff on target enemy or random enemy that could be copied and dispelled, excluding stacking debuffs, that debuff is dispelled and inflicted on that enemy for 1 turn. These debuffs can't be dispelled or resisted. All enemies are inflicted with 2 stacks of frustration for 1 turn, which can't be copied. So frustration, this is new. Detrimental effects build based on the cumulative number of stacks. Number 1, right, 1 stack you can't assist or counterattack. That is, I think that being the level 1 is insane, because you think about how many of the teams that in this game that are reliant on assists and counterattacks. Looking at that Jedi Master Kenobi team, even Leia, right, she's giving out retribution, assists from that Leia team. There's a lot of teams that rely on assists and counterattacks. Commander Luke Skywalker, they're not going to be able to do that if they have frustration on them. Whenever this character gains bonus turn meter, remove 2 stacks of recharge from enemy shield generator and expose this character for 2 turns. That's really, really good, right? So, especially think there's a lot of teams that gain that bonus turn meter. Hey, you've got frustration, you're going to be helping out, recharge our shield generator. Number 3, special abilities are unusable for 1 attack. Remove all stacks of frustration after this attack. So, that's basically ability block. Not bad at all, right? I'm not gonna, that's not bad at all. But then, remove all stacks after this happens. Okay. Next is Unique 1, Misa Okide. Zeta and Omicron. At the start of battle, Jar Jar loses that 75% max health, gains that much max protection. At the start of battle, Jar Jar is inflicted with Death Mark until he receives damage or evades an attack. This will be important as we see down below. If the enemy leader is Separatist at the start of the encounter, Jar Jar gains 50 speed. Jar Jar's debuffs can't be evaded and he can't be called to assist. Whenever another character gains Foresight, Jar Jar gains Foresight for 1 turn. When he gains Foresight, he dispels it and blinds himself instead for 1 turn. When Jar Jar evades a basic ability, that enemy that missed is inflicted with a sack of frustration for 1 turn at the start of the next turn, which can't be copied or resisted. Whenever an enemy dazes, staggers, or stuns a Gungan ally, Deathmark Jar Jar until he receives damage or evades an attack. Why are they saying, hey, he's got Deathmark, and then what about, evades an attack? Well, that's because if there's an active shield generator, Jar Jar has 1000% evasion. Actually, wait, that's 1000, right? 1000? Yeah, 1000. Use commas, please. 1000% evasion is actually just ludicrous, right? Now, there are some things that will still hit through this, right? And that's why it says damage or evades an attack. Think of somebody like Lord Vader. His basic is unavoidable. Whenever a character gains bonus turn meter, Jar Jar has a 1% chance of gaining a bonus turn. Increase to 10 if that is an enemy. So even as Gungans are gaining bonus turn meter, Jar Jar has a chance of gaining a bonus turn. Whenever this effect occurs, Jar Jar can't gain another bonus turn from this ability for 2 turns. So, he's going to gain a bonus turn, but it's not like it's going to be every single time. That is nice. That is a good, I don't want to say nerf, but that's a good stopping place to make sure that he's just not constantly, taking turns. While in Grand Arenas, whenever the shield generator uses Plasma Pulse, reset all of Jar Jar's cooldowns. Whenever a Gungan ally is dazed, staggered, or stunned, they dispel it and gain shield up for 2 turns. And remember, shield up is based on their max protection, so dazing them, stunning them, staggering them is just going to give them more survivability and make them that much more difficult to kill. And then finally, Unique 2. Muy, I love you. Gungan allies have 75% accuracy. So right there, this team is going to be one of the best when it comes to dodge and deflection chances because they're going to constantly have 75% accuracy to start. If the enemy leader is Separatist at the start of the encounter, all Gungan allies gain 50% max protection until the end of the encounter or Jar Jar's defeated for the first time. So right there in the raid, they're just going to be broken because they're going to get all these extra bonuses, right? At the start of the first turn, if there are no galactic legends, all enemies are inflicted with a stack of frustration for 1 turn, increased to 3 stacks if they are stealthed, which can't be resisted. So, like, just think about this. If you go in and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to use Starkiller against this team, well, they are going to be inflicted with frustration, which means they can't assist or counterattack. So, like, it's going to get a lot harder to start that turn meter train because Starkiller isn't going to be assisting right away. Palpatine can't assist Mara Jade right away. So it'll be a lot more challenging to get that going. And then you think of all these other things that are going to happen along the way. That bonus turns, breaking that up, like it's going to be a problem. If different enemies take consecutive turns, a random Gungan ally gains a bonus turn. So what they're saying there is that, hey, if Mara Jade takes a turn and then Palpatine takes the next turn, a Gungan ally is going to take a bonus turn in between there. That also kind of stops any kind of Imperial Trooper turn meter train from happening because they're just going to gain bonus turns and disrupt the Emperor's Trap from happening. So that's also problematic. Whenever Jar Jar misses an attack on his turn, all other Gungan allies assist, dealing 50% less damage. So that's where that blind comes into play up here. So whenever he's blinded, right, and he uses an attack, everybody's going to get called to assist. So, gotta love that, right? That is so crazily good. Hey, Jar Jar missed, but everybody's attacking. When the allied shield generator uses Plasma Pulse, Gungan allies ignore protection for 1 attack. That is just, gosh, holy crap. This is one of the most important parts of his kit right here. If there's an active shield generator, Gungan allies can't drop below 100% health while they have protection and can't be instantly defeated. This, to me, was the thing that had been missing from the Gungans. So Cal can use Riposte, you have the Plague that hits underneath protection, and then you had like Nihilus and Mando and Commander Tano. They can't be instantly defeated, so they're going to be a massive problem. Like, that is just so crazy. And we're not even done yet because there's still one more Omicron to read here. At the start of the first turn, the allied shield generator gains 2 stacks of plasma shielding for every 3 relic amplifiers Jar Jar has. Whenever a non-Gungan enemy gains damage immunity, all Gungan allies gain damage immunity for 1 turn. Whenever a Gungan ally gains a bonus turn from this ability, they gain 5% mastery until the end of the encounter. This dude is going to be a problem, right? I mean, you read all of this. Like, it is, they seem to, I don't know what the counter is going to be yet. I do not have any idea what this counter is going to be yet. All I can tell you is that it's going to be a problem to face this team, right? It's going to be a major problem to face this team. I mean, you think, like, just imagine that you take your Darth Bane against this and he happens to die that time. Like, I mean, it's going to stop so many things. Now, I do have some bigger questions, right? Kind of about, dispelling the bonus protection. How is that going to work? But the thing that I feel is really challenging here is that all of his Omicrons look really good. Like, I don't think any of these Omicrons is, I don't know if I could rate them yet. I'd really need to see the way that this works. Like, it feels like this one, if you don't equip it, you're kind of opening them up to Bad Batch. Kind of opening them up to teams that can daze them and stun them, right? So, like, it's going to be a problem. They're going to be a really good team. I think offensively, we're already seeing Gungans do some crazy stuff. I think defensively is where they're going to shine. Simply because of the randomness, right? That you might rely, hey, you know what? Like, this 0.01% chance, I'm going to tell you right now, Jar Jar's Datacron is going to do something to increase that chance. I think Fury said that in my Discord, and I completely agree that point, I mean, it's going to feel like 100% regardless, but I think that his Datacron is going to do something to make these chances happen a lot more frequent, because why not? That's what Datacrons have been doing lately, is making a team absolutely unbeatable outside of like 1 or 2 specific counters. So what does this mean in the game, right? Obviously, hey, his event begins Thursday, May 2nd. And then if we flip back over to the game here, I'm going to move my fat face back down the corner. Like, just for the sake of it, guys, none of the Gungans are farmable yet, right? None of these Gungans are even farmable. So you still have so much time to react to the Gungans. It's not like something like Bo-Katan or anything like. None of them are farmable yet. So you still have so much time to act on getting Jar Jar if this looks like it's going to break the game. So take that into consideration here, that you have a lot of time left. You've got a lot of time. Obviously, the Datacron, that's going to be a different situation entirely. But I feel that this is a good sign that hey, none of the Gungans are farmable yet. So it's whale food right now, right? It is absolutely whale food right now. But I think that's okay. I'm okay with that, right? I think that the players who kind of, hey, you know what? You spent the money, like, you deserve it. And just to show you guys, if we flip back over here to my screen capture on the Relic player data. So now this is updated as of like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. But look, there's still 1,300, bare minimum, 1,300 players probably getting Jar Jar day one right now. I'm sure that that's going to creep a lot higher after seeing this kit. I'm sure a lot of players were kind of waiting to see how much money they need to spend before going after Jar Jar. So we definitely have some time. But as someone who will be farming the Gungans when they, will be going hard on this faction when they go farmable, I'm excited. I'm definitely really nervous because I'm going to lose to Jar Jar a lot in the coming Grand Arenas, but that's kind of the state of the game right now, I think especially for those of us in Kyber 1, coming across Jar Jar is basically going to be a death sentence because I would assume that that's just going to be a defensive team. I don't, not that offensively they won't do some really good things, but it's kind of that, like, you get a new character and we all just throw them on defense because let your opponent figure out how to beat it, right? So that's my thoughts. That's my advice. I want to know what you guys think. Comment down below. I love you all. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.